On my plan, and this is where it's vital. This is the first unit what's going to be going in. If you look, I'm using my laser going up because the tall mean the wall units that are going to be going up top is going to come off that line. So that's his line. Going to run it into corner. That is going to line up exact. You don't want it 10 mil over, you don't want it any over, you want it exact. Boom, straight on. So we've got his level line across the back of the unit, got his level line across the front of the unit, got his level line down the side of the unit, and then double check it with your level, because if this unit ain't level, the rest of them won't be. Make sure it's level or plumb, whichever you wish. Going down. Make sure this corner post is plumb, because if it's not, when we run off this way, these aren't going to be plumb or level. I like level. They're not going to be level, and that's what we don't want. We want everything to be level, bang level, in the centre of the level, not to one side. Like that. So now we know this unit's in the exact same place with what we want. 585, exact. That is exact. So now we know that's in the right place. We're going to put some brackets on it and screw it. Now when you're putting brackets on and screwing in the kitchen, you've got to watch what you're screwing, because there's a mains board there. I know with this mains board everything comes up through the ceiling, but chances are, if it's on a wall like this, everything will be running down. So wherever you're screwing, you got to watch it. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise you'll go boom, straight in. Trip mains board, and then you have to get an electrician out, cut wall out, fix it, and then start again. So just think, if you think there's something there or a cable there, glue it. Glue the unit back to the wall. Do you know what I mean? Instead of screwing it. It's better being safe than sorry. And once you glue it, use some good glue. Once it goes off, it won't go nowhere. It's like Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Always there, every year, year in, year out. Top tip. And then, see how my level, see how my line is there? See how the floor? So we're 895 here, but in that corner there, in this corner here, we're only in that corner there, we're only 880. So we know that the floor is running up. So if you didn't make sure that we're 880 there, when we fit this island and we try to put this wine rack underneath, it would have been too low. So if we would have started at this point and done it 880, by the time we've got over to that point where the island's going, it would have been less than 865. And that in turn, when they put the floor down, lifted the floor up 20 mil, there wouldn't have been enough room to push the wine rack underneath. So you always got to make sure where your level is, and make sure at the lowest point that you've got 880 at least. Otherwise you're never going to get stuff underneath it. But that's only my views. Everybody's views are different. But that's mine. That's how I fit. So with this, all I'm doing is I'm putting my brackets in now, yeah? But all of the screws straight on. Right, so I've got my bracket in there. That'll just make sure it don't come over the unit. Because it's on a 4-inch bracket, 4-inch bracket. Now we know this unit's perfectly level and square. What we're going to start now, we're going to get the sink unit in, and the rest of the run, we'll screw them together, clamp them, screw them, and then I'll fix this into the unit. At the minute, all I've done is, it can't move left or right. It can move back and forward, because what we need to do is make sure this point is bang level or plumb. That, bang level, everything level. If everything's level, you won't have a problem. Just make sure it's level. If you can't get it level in the wall, just pull it off wall a little bit. It's not going to make a difference. 5 mil, It won't make a difference pulling it off wall. It will make a difference to everything else if you don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Because the work, you'll lose it in the worktop. It'll be fine. Get your first unit level right, everything else has to follow. Right, for the sink unit, what I'm going to do, always on its back corner. Sink unit's next in my line. So back corner, throw your rubbish out. So with this unit, I'm taking the back out of it because we've got all the waste and all the pipe work and all the stock trap. Take the back out of it, take it right up to the unit. If you have to cut all the back out of it, I don't see the point. You can drill a load of holes for that you need to get in for the pipe work. People fit everything so tight, and when there's an issue, you can't get in to do all. Then you have to butcher the unit. So it's easier just to do it this way. Straight away from start, take it off. So it's got little pincers in there. So I'll get my little screwdriver, hammer, chisel. Then always watch your front edge. These are stapled, these units. So what you're better off doing, just getting them out like that, prise them out, and they'll pop out. Pull it out completely. Same again. Just pull it out so you can get hold of it. Pull it out completely. Again, pull it out completely. Depending on where kitchens come from, sometimes they might be stapled all the way down. These ones are. Pull it out completely. Then, all we have to do is lift the back up. Like that. Full back. Nice and clean. And if you wish, you could put the back into this unit after you finish, but just cover all the pipe work in. And then at least if they need to get into it, you can just move it out and you're into it. But with this being a full back, I'm going to notch all that pipe work round that, and we're going to use the back of the wall as the back of the unit. Then what I do, flip it upside down, always the back corners. One leg pack. Same again, I've just shown you once. The lift, always to the panel side. Make sure they're in line. Always use the screws in the pack. Small ones. And then just get your drill, screw them in. This is the only unit where I'm not going to cut this back off, because I'm going to use it as a template for the sink. See, getting shown in a factory is different to being shown on a job. Because at the end of the day on a job you ain't got the luxury of a desk and a top and everything. You've got to work with the space you've got. Bang them in. Now you can use a hammer, but I use my trusty old drill for that because that works beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And I've done it all my life. So don't think that they break your drill, they don't break your drill. You only break your drill if you start hammering proper. All that is a plastic grommet and it just needs knocking down. So once we've got that, there we go. Unit, always flip it back edge, never front corner. Bend your knees, get it. Now we've got a sink unit which we're going to position in that spot there. And I'm going to do that by doing this. I just turn you around there. Can you see all that pipe work there? Right. So, all I'm going to do, because I know this unit's exactly level, I've got my laser line on it. I'm going to just push it up to there. Then I'm going to get my pencil. And all these pipe work, I'm just going to draw around it nice and neat. Then I'm going to pull the unit out. Let's move out of that laser. I'm going to pull the unit out and then I'm going to jigsaw it round with my jigsaw. And then I'm going to slot that unit right back. And then the back of the wall is going to be the back of the unit. And then we'll just seal that gap up with a bit of PVA. So if any water gets into it, it can't get damaged. And that'll do, that's the sink unit in. We'll cut this off once we get worktop on, because sink won't fit. And we'll cut that before we get it all fixed in, because if you don't cut that, when you drop the sink in, the sink's going to hit against this bar. So you're better off cutting it back an inch and you don't have a problem. No. So this is the reason why I didn't screw this into that wall there, because all these panels are all different shapes and sizes. So the best thing is, you want it nice and flush on the front edge and you want it flat there. The bottom, you might have a lip on it, but the top, you don't want a lip on it. You'll lose it at the bottom, but you'll see it at the top because it'll run along the worktop. So you always make sure it's flush on top, make sure it's flush, clamp it up and screw it in. I always screw my first screw where the clamp is. That way it won't pull away and you don't need to drill it. Same again. My first screw, I've always screw it where the hinge plate's going to be going. So when you put the hinge plate over, you never see the screws, depending on which side the door is. But you do that religiously, you're going to hide some of the screws. And then I move that clamp down, I clamp it in centre like that, and I'll screw it again. Always making sure that edge is flush. Always make sure your screw's flush, it don't stick out. And then just do that religiously all the way down. Screw all your units in, couple of screws at back there, and then that's how we have it. Then we set up. Then I will screw that back. I'll make sure it's all level with my laser level, and then I'll screw it back into the brackets that I've got, and then we'll have us full run then. But never ever screw something up tight, because in the real world everything's not square and level. Do you know what I mean? You have to make it square and level. So if you screw the first unit back before you get everything else plumb and level, you're going to struggle with it. So the easiest option is get your first in like I've done, like I've shown you, and then work off this and then work all your way along. Here I'm going to put a screw in to pull that unit tight into it, so when I cut that off from my sink, it's going to be fixed. It's not going to fall off, because once you cut that off, there's a dowel in it there and in it there. We're going to be taking them out, so we'll put a screw in now before we put the next unit on, and that'll stay in place instead of falling out. And it's easy as that. Just carry on like that.